Welcome back to Oxford 4000 Essential English Words, episode 53. I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm Frank, your learning partner on this journey. Emma, you seem to be in a particularly good mood today. Did you finally finish that massive book you were reading?
I did, and it was fantastic. It really made me reflect on a few things. Speaking of which, that nicely sets the stage for today's episode, don't you think?
A perfect transition, as always. So, what's on the menu for today? What words are we diving into?
All right, get your notebooks ready, everyone. Today we're covering reflect, few, according, with overtake, example, complete, resignation, kill, and amuse.
That's quite a mix. We've got some thoughtful words like reflect, and then suddenly kill and resignation. It sounds like a bit of a dramatic movie plot, and amusing to top it all off. This should be fun.
It certainly will be, but before we get into the drama and the fun, a quick reminder to all our listeners. If you're enjoying our podcast, please take a moment to save, like, and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Sharing with your friends also helps us a lot. Your support allows us to keep creating more polished and helpful episodes for all of you.
Exactly. Now, let's start with our first word, reflect. Reflect is a verb and it has a couple of main meanings. First, it can mean to think deeply or carefully about something. In Chinese, we'd say 反思 or 深思.
So like after a big meeting or a long day, you might reflect on what happened.
Precisely. For example, she needed time to reflect on the job offer. The second main meaning is when a surface, like a mirror or water, throws back light or an image. In Chinese, that's 反映 or 映出.
Right, like his face was reflected in the mirror. It's interesting how one word can mean both thinking and a literal image.
It is. Let's make some sentences. For the thinking meaning, I could say, we should all take a moment to reflect on our achievements this year.
Nice one. And for the image meaning, how about the calm lake perfectly reflected the mountains and the sunset? That's a much more peaceful image than my mirror example.
A very poetic example, Frank, and it perfectly illustrates the meaning. Let's move on to our next word, few. Few is a determiner and pronoun, and it means a small number of people or things. The core idea in Chinese is 很少的.
Now, this one can be tricky for learners, especially distinguishing it from a few. Few has a more negative, almost not enough feeling, right?
You've hit on the key point. Few emphasizes the smallness of the number, often in a negative or limited sense. A few just means a small number, without that negative overtone. For example, few people can solve this puzzle suggests it's very difficult.
Whereas a few people can solve this puzzle just sounds like some people can. So if I said, I have few friends, I'd sound quite lonely.
Exactly. It implies you wish you had more. A better, more neutral sentence would be I met a few friends for coffee.
Let's try another example with few. You could say, there are few reasons to doubt his story, meaning there's almost no reason to doubt him. Okay, I think I've got it. It's a subtle but important difference.
It really is. Now for our third word, according. This is an adverb, almost always seen in the phrase according to. It means as stated by or in a way that agrees with. In Chinese, it's 根据 or 按照.
So this is how we cite our sources. Like, according to the weather forecast, it's going to rain tomorrow.
That's the most common use, yes. It's used to attribute information to someone or something else. For example, according to my mom, I should always wear a coat.
A classic mom rule. Can it be used in other ways? Like, does everything have to go according to the plan?
That's another great usage. Everything went according to plan. In this case, according to means in agreement with the plan. It's all about conformity or correspondence.
Got it. So it's either citing a source or following a rule or plan. Seems straightforward enough. What's next?
Our next word is with. This is a very common preposition with many, many uses. We'll focus on a few key ones. The most basic meaning is being together or involved. In Chinese, this can be expressed as he or gun.
I'm going to the park with my dog. Easy. But I know it gets more complex. What about having or possessing something?
Yes, that's another one. I saw a man with a red hat. It can also indicate the tool or instrument used to do something, which is yong in Chinese. For instance, he wrote the letter with a pen.
Right, and how about feelings? He shouted with anger.
Perfect. That shows the manner or feeling accompanying an action. One more common use is to mean in opposition to, like in, I had an argument with my brother.
So it can mean together, using, having, and against. That's a lot for one little word. For our listeners, paying attention to the context is absolutely key for the word with.
That's the best advice. Okay, let's pick up the pace a bit. Our fifth word is overtake. It's a verb meaning to catch up with and pass someone or something. The Chinese is 超过.
This is a driving word for me. On the highway, he tried to overtake a slow truck. I hope he did it safely.
Let's hope so. It can also be used figuratively. For example, fear overtook him as he entered the dark room. Here, a feeling is passing and consuming him. Or, China's economy is expected to overtake Japan's.
So it can be about vehicles, emotions, or even economies. That's a versatile one. Let's make another sentence. She was determined to overtake her main rival in the last lap of the race.
An excellent example of its most direct meaning. Let's keep the energy up and move to example. It's a noun. An example is a thing characteristic of its kind or illustrating a general rule. In Chinese, that's 例子.
Like how we've been giving example sentences for every word. It's a perfect example of the word example. A bit meta, isn't it?
Very meta. We also use the phrase for example to introduce, well, an example. There are many fun things to do in the city, for example, visiting museums or going to a concert.
And we can also use someone as a good or bad example. He is a good example for the other students, meaning they should follow his behavior.
Precisely. Let's do one more sentence. Could you give me an example of what you mean? That's a phrase you'll use a lot when learning.
Definitely. On to the next word.
The next word is complete. It can be a verb or an adjective. As a verb, it means to finish making or doing something. The Chinese is 完成. As an adjective, it means having all the necessary parts, or whole. That's 完整的.
So, as a verb, you need to complete the form to register. And as an adjective, the project is a complete success.
Perfect. The adjective can also be used for emphasis, often in a negative way. For instance, he's a complete fool, or the room was in complete darkness.
So, it can mean total or absolute in that sense. It was a complete surprise. I like that. It's a very useful word.
It is. Now for a more serious one, resignation. This is a noun and it means the act of telling your employer you are leaving your job. The Chinese is 辞职.
The formal act of quitting. He handed in his letter of resignation yesterday. It sounds so final.
It often is, but resignation can also have a second, more emotional meaning. It can describe an attitude of accepting something unpleasant that you cannot change, a feeling of 顺从 or 听天由命.
So she accepted her fate with resignation. That's a much deeper, more passive feeling than quitting a job.
It is. It's about giving up a fight. For example, there was a sense of resignation in his voice as he admitted defeat.
Two very different meanings. One is an action, the other is an emotion. Very interesting.
Now for the most dramatic word on our list, kill. A verb. Its primary meaning is to cause the death of a person, animal, or other living thing. The Chinese is, of course, sha.
A very strong word, but we use it informally all the time, don't we? Like, my feet are killing me after a long walk. It doesn't mean my feet are literally causing my death.
Exactly. That's a great example of hyperbole. We also use it to mean to stop or put an end to something. For example, the manager had to kill the project due to a lack of funding.
Or to pass time. We have an hour to kill before the movie starts. And what about making someone laugh a lot? That joke killed me.
That's another one. So, from its literal, serious meaning to these informal uses for pain, time, laughter, and projects, kill is surprisingly flexible.
It really is. Okay, let's end on a lighter note. What's our last word?
Our final word is amusing, an adjective. It means causing laughter and providing entertainment. In Chinese, it's 有趣 or 好笑的.
A much happier word. I read an amusing story in the paper today. It's not laugh out loud hilarious, maybe just pleasantly funny.
That's a good way to describe it. It's lighter than hilarious. You could say, he told us an amusing anecdote about his childhood. Or, I found his attempts to dance quite amusing.
That sounds a little bit mean, but I get it. It's for things that make you smile or chuckle. Okay, that's all 10 words. A great list. And a reminder for our listeners, be sure to save this episode's word list and subscribe so you don't miss our next set of 10 words.
Well said, Frank. Now, to help everyone reflect on these words, let's put them all into a real life situation. We're going to perform a short scenario dialogue.
Let's do it. What's the scene?
Imagine two colleagues, Alex and Ben, discussing a former coworker's sudden departure. I'll be Alex, you be Ben.
Got it. Ready when you are.
Ben, Did you hear about David? He handed in his resignation this morning. It's a complete shock.
Wow, no, I didn't. There were few signs he was unhappy. According to HR, what was the reason?
They didn't give a specific one, just that he's leaving. His departure is going to kill our project timeline.
We'll have to work overtime to overtake his workload. I just hope he's okay. It's a big decision.
I saw him earlier. He had a look of calm resignation. It made me reflect on my own career path, to be honest.
I know what you mean. For example, seeing someone make such a bold move is both scary and inspiring. I had a talk with him yesterday, and he told me an amusing story about his plan to travel the world with his wife.
Well, that's certainly a better reason than being unhappy here.
Definitely. It's a great example of someone choosing a different path.
A very powerful use of our vocabulary today. You can see how resignation was used in both of its meanings, the job action and the emotional state.
And kill was used figuratively to talk about the project, not literally, which is a key takeaway for learners. This was a great way to see the words in action. And now, it's your turn to put them into action. It's time for our Chinese to English practice segment.
Frank, lay the challenge on them.
All right, everyone, listen carefully. I will give you a sentence in Chinese using some of today's words. You'll have 5 seconds to translate it into English. Ready? Here is the first one. 根据他的辞职信，很少有人能预料到他会为了完成一个如此有趣的个人项目而超过他原来的老板。
That's a tricky one. Think about all the vocabulary, everyone. You can do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Emma, what are some good answers?
A great one would be according to his resignation letter, few people could have predicted he would overtake his old boss to complete such an amusing personal project.
Nice. You could also say something like, based on his resignation, it's an amusing example that few could foresee him surpassing his former boss to finish a personal project. Based on works well as a substitute for according to.
Excellent alternative. The key is to capture that few implies it was unexpected, and overtake can mean surpass in a career sense.
Exactly. Okay, round 2. Here is the next Chinese sentence. 当我看到水中的导演时，我忍不住反思那些用一个有趣的例子就能扼杀的几个想法。
Another complex one. Focus on how kill can mean stop or end.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What have you got, Emma?
A solid translation would be when I saw my reflection in the water, I couldn't help but reflect on the few ideas that could be killed with just one amusing example.
That's very smooth. I like how you used reflect in both its meanings back to back, first as an image, then as deep thought. Another option could be, seeing myself reflected in the water, I had to think about how a few of my ideas were stopped by a single amusing example. Using stopped is a good way to paraphrase killed.
Very good. It shows there's more than one way to be correct.
All right, final challenge. This one connects a few more ideas. Here it is. 这个例子很有趣，它反映出他如何用完整的计划完成了那件几乎要了他命的工作。
This sentence really tests the different meanings of our words. You've got this, listeners.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down. Let's hear the expert translation.
Okay, here's one way. This amusing example reflects how he, with a complete plan, finished a job that almost killed him.
That's direct and effective. It uses reflects to mean shows or demonstrates. Another great option could be, it's an amusing example that shows how he used a complete plan to finish the work that was absolutely killing him. Using killing him is a nice, natural, informal way to express that the job was extremely difficult.
Fantastic work, everyone. That was tough, but practice like this is what makes the vocabulary stick.
It absolutely is. And that brings us to the end of another episode. I feel like my brain has had a complete workout.
Mine too, but it was an amusing one. For our next episode, we'll be tackling another 10 words goods, academic, those, hill, quote, sunset, in, free, consist, and magnet.
Ooh, Inn and Sunset sound like they belong in a nice story. I'm looking forward to it. A final reminder to our wonderful listeners. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support is our motivation.
It truly is. Thanks for joining us on Oxford 4000 Essential English Words. Keep practicing, keep reflecting, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye for now.